Yo, what is happening, guys, and welcome back to the Let's Talk Finance channel. Yes, I am back. I know I keep disappearing. I've literally just been working so much lately, and I've just been really busy. But today, by the title and thumbnail, you can tell that we're going to kind of be talking about Misfits 11 Jarvis versus B Dave, but we're going to be talking about a particular fight, and when YouTube boxing actually gets beyond the fun and becomes quite dangerous. We're going to be talking about Arms versus Minicon. They had their second fight. Obviously, Minicon won the first fight. Then they had this rematch. Arms actually won this match. You would not think, if you saw the aftermath of this fight, you would definitely think Minicon dominated this fight. But if you watch the fight, Arms won. And it is simply for the fact of, how the fight went was basically, it was very sloppy from both. Arms actually came out, obviously bigger guy. He came out coming off the loss to Minicon, coming off the win against, I can't remember his name. He came on off a win. And he obviously was hyped up. He wanted this rematch. He thought he could beat Minicon. He knew he could beat Minicon. One thing that surprised me is Arms came out bouncing like KSI in the karate stance. He literally came out in the karate stance. KSI comes out and bouncing up and down. And all I could think was, last time you fought Minicon, you had to leave on a stretcher because you were ready to collapse. Because when you're that big, you have so much, you've so much blood. You need so much oxygen for your muscles to push blood around to, that, like, you're so big, like, you're so built. And I was thinking, he's doing this, but is he going to be able to do this for like 4 rounds and not collapse? And, he came out, he looked in better shape than he did last time. Last time, after the first round, he was fatigued. So he looked in better shape this time. He obviously came out. He was a better boxer this time. He was up on the karate stance and it was working for him. He actually knocked Minicon down in the first round. He finished that round. He won 10-8. Then it came the second round, and it was more of the same thing, still bouncing on his feet, doing the same thing. I believe Arms won the second round, 10-9, just edging it. When it got to the third round, that's when you really, really saw the fatigue setting in. Both men were tired, but that's when you really saw the fatigue setting in. I think it was about the third round where it became a really, really sloppy fight. It was a bit of a sloppy fight, round 1 and 2, but round 1 was probably the most clear one. And then round 2 was a little bit sloppy. Round 3 and 4 was just completely sloppy. Both men clinching constantly, both men throwing punches and then missing and overstanding, falling into each other. Arms, by this point, Minicon was tired, but Arms was absolutely fatigued. There was points where Arms was literally so tired, Minicon wasn't even hitting him, and Arms was struggling to stand up because he has, like I said, so much weight. He has so much muscle. You need so much oxygen to push the blood around the body and the muscles and get it all there, that you're gonna get tired more than the average person because you've so much more body weight and muscle to put around, and that's literally what was happening. He was struggling to stand up. He was struggling to stand up by himself. He was having to use the ropes. He was wobbling back and forth. I genuinely thought at one point he was going to collapse by himself. Round 3 and 4, I think Minicon won. They were very dirty rounds, just clinching, not just dirty boxing, not really clean boxing. Minicon actually had Arms in a bad position countless times, where if he had have just continued to hit him, he actually could have finished Arms. But for some reason, Minicon held back. He didn't go for him. He didn't, keep throwing the punches. There was a lot of times where he got Arms in a bad position, and instead of, stepping back and putting like a 1-2 together or something, he kind of just overthrew it and started clinching him when he could have actually, if he had have done it, he would have won. He would have finished Arms because Arms could barely hold himself up. If you hit him with a 1-2, he was going down. So Minicon actually had the chance to win this fight. I do think Minicon won rounds 3 and 4. Obviously the final score being Arms winning 38-37. I actually agree with Arms winning, and obviously that will come as a shock. I think the first round, obviously, Arms won 10-8. I think second round, he won 10-9. Then I think rounds 3 and 4, Minicon won 10-9. So I do think, as surprising as it is, Arms won the fight, even though Arms was the one to leave on the stretcher. But, in the actual boxing match. But yes, no, Arms, it's the same as last time. It's a repeat of last time where he had to leave on the stretcher. And, the fight, it wasn't a great fight, but I would be up for seeing a third one, but there is an issue. Is Arms impressed me when he fought his last fight. When he came in here against Minicon, it wasn't the cleanest fight, but in the first round, he impressed me. The fact he completely changed his style. He was bouncing on the karate stance like KSI. He was landing some of the nice punches, bursting in. I actually was impressed at the beginning. Um, But then it just went downhill, and it's gotten honestly to the point where I would like to see Arms fight again, but I'd also rather he not, because we all watch YouTube boxing for the entertainment. We like seeing the beef, we like seeing the story, we obviously like seeing the boxing match. But at the end of the day, whether you want someone to win, you don't want someone to win, at the end of the day, the most important thing is they both get out of that ring and go home safe to their families. That's the most important thing. You know, Jake Paul versus KSI, when Jake Paul and KSI fight, if they fight, regardless of who wins, you know, even if you hate Jake Paul or you hate KSI, but even if you hate Jake Paul, I'd like to think you wouldn't want to see him be taken off in a stretcher and rushed to hospital with life threatening injuries. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want that one punch line, because at the end of the day, it is a sport. Yes, you may not like some people. Yes, you may be cheering for their opponent, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is they get in there, they put on a show for us. You cheer for one person, you cheer against the other. You know, obviously, if the person you don't want to win wins, you get annoyed. But at the end of the day, the most important thing, like I said, is they get in there, they entertain us, they put on a show, they put the work in, and then they both step out of that ring safe and sound, go home to their families with no extreme damage, because people have died in a boxing ring. People have taken brain damage in a boxing ring, and we've seen it too many times. And that's what I think needs to be understood here. Is Arms, I don't know if I want to see him fight again, for the simple fact of it is too dangerous. We saw him leave on the stretcher the first time, and we made jokes about it because, he was fine. But it's happened the second time now. And yes, I know it's been a while. We know he's fine now. But the point is, if how many times can he do this before it turns serious? What if he has the third fight with Minicon and he gets taken out on the stretcher again? Because he was in far better shape, far more on point this time, and he still got taken out on a stretcher. So unless he knocks Minicon out or Minicon knocks him out, he's going to be taken out on a stretcher the third time, I assume. And what if that third time is that time where it goes a little bit extra and he doesn't just get rushed to hospital, treated, and then he gets up and walks out normally? What if it becomes that bit more serious? And that's my problem, because, like I said, we're all here for entertainment at the end of the day. We're all here to see YouTubers fight each other and entertain us. We are not here to see people get severely injured that's going to damage them for the rest of their lives, or get fucking killed in that ring. And that is just the point. And like I said, I'd like to see Arms again, because I want to see someone that big box. It's entertaining to see how far he can go, but at the same time, for the good of himself, I'd honestly rather if he didn't box again, because it's just become dangerous. And I genuinely do not know who the fuck cleared him to fight, because after the last time, there should have been a thorough check through this, and they clearly didn't do it. If someone clears him to fight again, and it happens again, the person who clears him has got to be sued or some shit, because it's happened twice now. It shouldn't have happened once. But sometimes, mistakes happen. You're like, fair enough, it happened once. You learn from your mistake. It happened again. And as I said, yes, he's fine now, but what if he does it a third time or a fourth time or a fifth time? What if he does it one time too many, and then it becomes more serious, life threatening? He could pass away from it, or it could just negatively affect his life for the rest of his life, because boxing is not a game. I think a lot of YouTubers need to realize this. Yes, a lot of them take the training seriously, but I think they also need to understand one punch can change everything. One punch can change your life. If someone lands the wrong punch on you, they could kill you. If someone lands the wrong punch on you, they could paralyze you. We've seen people get punched to the back of the head and it damaged them. That's why they're so strict on not punching the back of the head. Boxing is not a game of basketball or a game of football or a game of fucking tennis or golf, where, say, basketball, you kind of bump into each other, you lay it up. Football, you kind of bump into each other. Yeah, you can like have injuries and all. Yes, obviously serious injuries can happen then too, but this is genuinely where, when you're playing basketball, you're putting the ball up. You're not putting yourself in a position to fucking get severely injured. Maybe tear an ACL, yes. Football the same, golf the same, tennis the same. But in boxing, you're physically getting in there to get punched in the face and putting yourself in that dangerous position. So I think a lot of YouTubers need to take this as a lesson and be like, right, we need to train properly, because although we may not be as big as him, although that may not happen to us, something similar or something completely different that could be to the same level of seriousness could happen to us too. And I think this is clearly a wake up call to all YouTube boxers, anybody who picks up a pair of gloves, to take the sport seriously and understand that every time you're getting in there, you're taking a risk. And I think the fans need to understand this as well. And I think Arms needs to understand it, and the people fucking clearing Arms and the people in Arms' camp and all people around Arms, I think they all need to understand it's just too dangerous. Like I said, this is just one of those times where YouTube boxing just gets too serious and it just goes that bit too far. And it's kind of a wake up call. And I think a lot of people need that wake up call to just understand, right, it's all fun and games until shit like this happens. We need to make sure shit like this doesn't happen again. So yeah, that's my whole take on it. Fair enough, Arms won the fight. Would I like to see a trilogy? I'd like to see a trilogy to see who's better, but I only want to see a trilogy if Arms is able to go past 2 rounds without looking like he's going to collapse and finish the fight and not be taken out on a stretcher. Because, like I said, I'm not trying to see anybody get severely injured. I'm not trying to see anybody die. I just want to see 2 people get in there, settle their beef, fight, entertain us, and that's it. So, if he can sort that somehow, I'd like to see him back, but I don't think he can. So, my personal advice: you can still train boxing, take time off, really try to put yourself through it, and make sure if you're going to come back, you're cleared properly. And if you cannot pass a test, don't risk it, because it's just not worth it. It's not worth your life to get a paycheck and put on a show for people. It's just not. But yeah, that's one of those times YouTube boxing gets serious, and I think people need to get a wake up call and actually understand that and not take it a step too far. But yeah, that's my whole opinion on it. You can let me know your opinion on it too. Do you want to see Arms back? What did you think about him being taken out in the stretcher? Obviously, people are making jokes about it now, and it's all fun and games because he's fine now. But I'm just saying, if it happened again, it might be a completely different story. We might not be sitting here saying, "Oh yeah, no, he's fine, he's this." Could be completely different. And I, for one, personally don't want to see that. But you just can let me know down in the comments down below. Who do you think? Do you think Arms won the fight? Do you think Minicom won the fight? I know Arms looked like he didn't win the fight for sure, because of his fatigue. But punching wise, I think Arms won the fight. But you just can let me know your opinions. What do you think about the whole him being taken out in the stretcher? What's other things that you thought was good on the event overall? But yeah, that's my video. I'm sorry I've been gone, but I just keep falling into the hole where I can just keep working and working and working, and I'm like, shit, I need to get back to this. But yeah, as always, hope y'all are doing well. Hope y'all are thinking positive, test negative. Hope y'all have an amazing day. Stay safe, as always. I'll see you in the next one. So, peace.